Jessica Mitford's 1963 book, The American Way of Death, criticizes the morality of the funeral industry and gained popularity for her humor. So, when she passed, she only asked for a New Orleans-style marching band, 6 black Belgian horses, poet laureate of the United States Maya Angelou to speak, and a long list of other things. I can only dream to plan this extravagant of a funeral, as I am currently pursuing mortuary science to become a licensed embalmer. I have visited cadaver labs and taken anatomy courses. The funeral industry has a long history and is still advancing today. After listening to my speech, you will understand the history of embalming, an embalmer's role, and the direction the funeral industry is heading now. For centuries, different forms of body preservation have been used. LaCourte describes how over 6,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians had different techniques depending on the wealth of the person that passed. The most expensive way is to remove and wash the organs in wine and spices, lay the body in a salt solution for a few days, bathe and allow the body to dry in the desert sun, and wrap it in linen. This was not done to mourn the deceased, but to ensure the soul could live on with the physical body still intact. From 650 to 1861, Europeans showed an increased interest in anatomical study, and experiments and dissections were performed in the wintertime when decomposition slowed a bit. In front of large groups of people, they would inject the body with various materials such as dye or mercury to try and preserve it and observe the blood vessels and organs. Continuing the journey west, America adopted embalming during the Civil War in order to ensure that they could preserve Union soldiers for their trip north back home. Johnson explains the method of embalming at the body at home with a crude hand pump that flushes embalming fluid into the body. Abraham Lincoln was embalmed this same way and was taken by train back to his home on a 3-week journey, including stops for grieving people to pay their respects. Getting someone ready for a viewing is a multi-step process that embalmers perform to create lasting memories of your loved ones. Mr. Collison explains that funeral service and embalming doesn't make sense from a worldview, but that humans feel a need to say goodbye. Ferguson's explains how embalming must be done within the first 24 hours of death and is a process of pumping chemicals, such as formaldehyde, into a major artery and throughout the body until the solution replaces all the blood. Then the organs must be drained of their liquid and filled with preservative as well. This slows down decomposition and eliminates odors temporarily. The face and the hands are what shows in a viewing of the body, so extra attention is given there. The eyelids, nose, and mouth are filled with cotton or plastic to recreate proper shape. The jaw is wired shut. Clay or wax are used to fill in any gashes or open wounds, and then heavily pigmented cosmetics are used to restore looks. Since embalming deals with chemicals and possible risk of infection from the deceased, there are strict rules in place to minimize these risks. Full face respirator and a full body covering are required for embalmers to wear when they are embalming a body. Cremation and other methods of final disposition are becoming more common than embalming. According to the National Funeral Directors Association, the U.S. cremation rate has risen from less than 10% in 1980 to nearly 55% in 2019. This popularity is partly due to how cremation is much cheaper than embalming. Consumers wanted to find a simple way to dispose of the body and to save money. Funeral homes made this choice easier by offering alternative memorials and urn niches, which is an above-ground plot to put the urn so you can visit it. Another popular among baby boomer generations are personalized funerals, which showcase the person's interest and hobbies. As these alternative memorials became more popular, funeral directors are expected to have knowledge of both traditional methods and of green funeral practices. Green burials can include anything from just carpooling to the funeral to not embalming the body that's being buried. Another rising method that Lebrant describes is alkaline hydrolysis, which is where they place the body in a solution with a high pH to liquefy anything that isn't bone. One final disposition method I feel isn't recognized as such is donating the body to science. Thanks to the history of body preservation, the job of embalmers, and the less traditional methods of final disposition rising in popularity, we can continue to give family and friends a lasting memory of their loved one.